tonight we have Dr. Alexandria Jones, the founder and CEO of Archaeology in the Community. She is also an education leader focused on community outreach and service. Dr. Jones has been an educator for more than 16 years. She has taught in multiple educational environments, from primary schools to museums. She obtained dual Bachelor's of Arts degrees from Howard University in History and Anthropology in 2001. She obtained a master's degree in history from Howard University in 2003, and then attending University of California, Berkeley to obtain a Ph.D. in historical archaeology in 2010. Dr. Jones worked for PBS's television show Time Team America as the archaeology field school director, where she directed field schools for junior high and high school students at each of the sites for the 2013 season. Dr. Jones serves on the board of directors for the Society of Black Archaeologists, the board of directors of the St. Croix Archaeological Society, and is an academic trustee for the Archaeological Institute of America. She was appointed by President Biden to become the current chair of the Cultural Property Advisory Committee. So welcome, Dr. Jones.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
I get that. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Oh, I need to be made co-host.
Oh, I might need to give you permission. Okay. That should be that.
Yep, perfect. Okay, good evening, everybody. So I've been working on this project, documenting Africatown Cemetery, now for almost a year at this point. And what I want to do is I just want to kick off and give you a little bit of history and background about the project, talk about how it's developed. And to be very clear, I am an archaeologist, and it's very rare that you find archaeologists who kind of create and develop this scale of a project around cemetery documentation. Okay. So I want to start out with the project history, just to give you a little bit of background about the project, how it was developed, and who are all the players. So as I said before, this is kind of an unusual project in that we have multiple programmatic partners. So Archaeology in the Community, which is an archaeology education nonprofit, Jones Archaeology, which is a CRM firm, Charge, which is a archaeology educational arm of Wake Forest University. The Africatown Heritage Preservation Foundation, which is our community partner. We're funded by the Slave Wrecks Project that is based out of the National Museum of African American History and Culture through the Smithsonian. We've also partnered with the Heritage House in order to help elevate information about this project. And SEAC, which is the Southeastern Archaeological Conference, has a program called the African American Heritage Program that they do in partnership with Archaeology in the Community, which basically partners CRM firms with archaeology or African American communities that need archaeological assistance. And for this specific project, through this partnership, New South and Associates ended up partnering with us for this. So this is kind of unusual to see this many archaeology heritage organizations, museums coming together, kind of and galvanizing just around a project. So kind of starting from the beginning, where did this all come about? I have a colleague that I work with out of Wake Forest who had started the Cultural Heritage Archaeology Research Group. And him and myself started having a conversation around this project. I informed him that I was a program partner with the Slave Rex, and we were asked to meet the needs of the community. One of the needs that came up was the cemetery, was preservation of the cemetery, helping and assisting with the cemetery. And as I was talking with him about this, he had just launched in a cemetery in North Carolina, this new project using GIS to survey the cemetery. And so Dr. Brock and I, kind of kept going back and forth, and he proposed, hey, let's use this, what I just started, and let's customize it and do this for the cemetery in Africatown. And so as him and I talked more and more about this, one of the other concerns I had was there was archaeology that's been done in the past around the cemetery, but the community doesn't have access. We want to make it accessible to everybody. We want to put it in a format where people can navigate it. So out of this, the very first thing we thought about is creating the hub kind of database. And this is a spot where any archaeology that's being done on any level in Africatown, all of it is housed on this website. So if you look here at the bottom, if everybody kind of wants to take time and write this website address down, if you go to this website, you can see all of the archaeological reports. We've been in real time updating it. So the lecture that Maddie gave at the Alabama or USA's Archaeology Museum, that paper has already been uploaded into the hub. So if you go down to reports, you can see them. You can see the archaeological reports from Neil Norman in 2010. Anything that we've been writing, we have a graduate student who helped create this database. She was the main person that was assigned to creating the map and assisting Dr. Brock. Her research is in here as well. So the first thing was being very forward, being very transparent. As an archaeologist, one of my things is if I'm working with the community, I want to be as upfront and realistic about what's going on as possible. And one of the things that I believe is by putting what we're writing, what we're saying, what we're reporting about on the communities that we're working with in their hands allows that ability to be very transparent. And we've had it in the past where archaeologists produce reports or give papers at conferences, and it's never seen by the community. I wanted to change that kind of moving forward. And one of the ways that we did that is by creating this database of everything. The other big thing is we wanted to take the power out of our hands. So creating a citizen science project. This was very important to me. So as Dr. Brock and I talked further about what this could look like, what this would be, I wanted to use the power of this GIS software that he had customized for this particular cemetery space and make it so it was easily usable and user-friendly to just the lay public. So we wanted to kind of galvanize the community to conduct the heritage work, but take it out of our hands. Because traditionally, when it's left in our hands, things that come up are money, time, availability to do this labor, doing it in a time frame that meets the needs of the community. So by fully developing it in this way, it takes all of that onus off of us and actually puts it in the hands of the community. So the project gets done as quickly as the community wants it to be done. Citizens can also populate the information on the interactive map, including photographs, details on how the plots were preserved. One of the things I wanted this to do is go above and beyond just mapping. One of the concerns with the cemetery is preservation and heritage preservation. So what this survey does, as the person is going through and documenting each grave site, it allows them to actually give preservation information. Is it dirty? Is the vault cracked? Does it need repair work? Is it in perfect condition? All of these things, so that someone wanted to write a grant around preservation, they can actually query the database and find out, hey, we have 400 vaults that need to be replaced. We have X amount of headstones that need to be cleaned or have moss or other things growing on it. So this allowed us to go well beyond just people could search internationally to see their loved ones, to also be a place where we could come and learn about preservation and what needs to be done. This also allows the ability for loved ones, if they see that there's something done, that they can donate to the organization that's over the cemetery for preservation needs. This allows them to see, hey, I need to do something to help the overall. The grass needs to be cut, other things. So this kind of, in a very forward way, allows people to see and get them excited about contributing to or helping, or having family reunions around this space, and knowing that these are things that need to be done. The mapping project also was expanded. One of the things that was very important to me with this project is that we tell the whole story of Africatown. And in order to tell the whole story of Africatown, you have to include all of Africatown. So initially, when Dr. Norman did his survey in 2010, he only did Old Plateau Cemetery. He didn't actually do GPR on New Plateau. And one of the things we did was we expanded it. So that's where New South and Associates came in. They did GPR, they did drone footage so that we could have complete aerial photographs, high resolution of the both New and Old Plateau, allowing us to create the polygons that we could put into the map so that family members could map as recent as people buried last year in January. They could map in all of their loved ones. So what does this look like, conducting the survey? We created a QR code. This QR code is up in several locations where somebody could effectively just scan it with their phone or their tablet. Once you do that, it gives you access to the survey. Simply choose open in browser. There are some people who have committed to doing this, so they've actually downloaded the app. So if you downloaded the survey app, you'll be able to just go into it and you click on the survey form that says Old and New Plateau documentation. To further assist us with this, one of the things we've done is there have been 5 blessing boxes that have been placed all throughout Africatown in front of the churches. So if you go in front of any of the churches, you'll see kind of the old little library where you get one, take one, except in it is supplies to actually document the cemetery. So to do that, you need a chalkboard. The chalkboard is pictured here. It's a customized chalkboard that is also, it doubles as our photo board as well. So there's a chalkboard, there's chalk, there's an eraser, there are measuring tapes. And all of these are located in each one of these boxes. There are about 15 in each one. So as groups get together, people come together, you can go to a particular church, grab all the supplies you need, go to the cemetery, do the documentation, and then after you do that, return all the supplies there. But we wanted to give the community everything they needed to participate in this project. We didn't want any barriers, such as telling people you had to purchase these sort of items. Now, in creating a project like this, I'm very intentional about being forward thinking, also thinking about accessibility. And so one of the things that I wanted to do, and one of the things that I was concerned about, is not everybody has internet at home or computers. And so one of the things that we did is we placed a touch screen TV kind of screen as you can see in this lower picture, in the Heritage House. So when the Heritage House opened, I was actually there for 2 of the days talking to people, explaining what the mapping project is, but also explaining how to query the hub and the database so that anyone could kind of go in, look up their loved ones, see what's been done, see what areas of the cemetery haven't been done and what areas have been done. But one of the things that I thought was even more amazing was the Heritage House completely got behind this idea after seeing all what the mapping entailed. And they later in this same digital room dedicated a exhibition to the mapping of this project. So as you can see in this picture, there's pictures of the different mapping projects that have taken place at the cemetery. You see the QR code there again. You see a picture of the blessing box so that people know exactly what the box looks like. So when you go to the churches, you know where you're going. And there's information about the project. But one of the things that really kind of elevated this and showed the commitment from the Heritage House was they had their own private training of their staff. So that as visitors come in, if they want to learn how to do the mapping, if they have questions around the mapping, the museum staff has also been trained on how to do it. So they can also act as volunteers and kind of liaisons and lay educators for people who would like to get involved in this project. Now, it's one thing to put this project together. It's another thing to ensure that it works. So our whole team came out. So archaeology in the community in June of 2023, so last summer, we did an archaeology youth program for 13 high school students who participated in the STEM-based Miss Juneteenth scholarship pageant. And so the young ladies for this project had one full day in the classroom where they met the archaeologists from New South and Associates. They taught them about GPR, they taught them about drone, how they do survey. They also met with Wake Forest staff, so Dr. Brock is pictured here, working with some of the young ladies, as well as Miss Scott, who was the undergraduate student who developed the mapping software for this. We all came together with AITC staff, and after we talked with the young ladies, we ran kind of a in-house in the hotel run through of how to use the map. And then when we went out into the cemetery, they were actually the first people to put the first burials in. So the day we went out, they put 20 burials into the system. But one of the things we wanted to do with them is, one, young students are very intuitive, but two, they'll also tell you when things are wrong and complicated. So by working with them, they became our focus group on what questions should we change, what things should we alter, and how should we make this better before we unveiled it to the larger community. So effectively what happened is our community days. We can't give a product to the community and say, you know, we've built it, now come. We also have to train the community on how to use it and create community leaders as well who will go forward and train others on how to do it. So one of the things that was done in partnership with the Africatown Heritage Preservation Foundation was for the very first day that was done in September of last year, we literally sent out emails to everybody, as many organizations, as many people as possible, asking them to send a leader or a person that they would like to have be the liaison to teach people back at their organizations, churches, groups, or schools how to do this project. So pictured here at the very top is the very first community day that we had. We had just under 70 people show up that day. We did this at the Robert Hope Community Center. I explained how to use it. And then right after we finished, the whole community, everybody, we went out into the cemetery and we actually did the project. We held an additional training. We did this at one of the local churches, where again, we asked people from different organizations. We had students from USA present. We had members from different churches, we had different fraternal organizations, and we had local cemetery representatives all show up to this training because they couldn't make the first to learn again how to do this. We had tablets all throughout the room so people could practice, so we could train them and teach them. And then we partnered with USA. And what I will say is this day was amazing. A huge amount of their students came out, but we also had other local businesses and organizations that came out as well on this day. And we had approximately about 80 people who showed up to map the cemetery that day. So one of the things that's very important to us is, one, we want the community to do this, but as archaeologists, we also realize that it's very much still on us to properly train the community, to give them all the tools of what they need. So coming back every couple of months to retrain new people, coming back to make sure that we have enough supplies, coming back to just make sure that we're doing the labor, and so that people see that we didn't just create it and we've left, but we're here being active and we're being part of the community as well. And this is as important to us as it is to the larger community, is very important. So looking at the future of this project, one of the things I would like to put on everybody's radar that's here today is this year for Juneteenth, the whole team, meaning the whole archaeological team, will be at the cemetery, June 17th through the 21st, all day documenting the cemetery. So this is an opportunity. We wanted to pick Juneteenth as a day to celebrate, to venerate Africatown's history and heritage. So we thought this is a perfect week that we could come together as a collective community to do documenting. So anybody can come out into the cemetery during these times, work alongside archaeologists, but also bring their own groups, their own people as well. We do have one school group and one group of young community members who will be coming out on the 17th. We're hoping that other organizations and groups also sign up to join to help us do this documenting. And you get to work along the side of archaeologists. So you also get that benefit of talking to them and asking them any pressing questions that you have. And then a new component has been added to the survey, where family members can enter bibliographical information about their loved ones into the database. So again, Dr. Brock and I, in thinking about creating something that's very holistic, something that can serve all the needs of everybody, something that will have lasting sustainability, will be important for perpetuity, was this idea of making it more relevant and giving kind of life to the people who are buried in this sacred space. And one of the ways we thought would be great to do this is by allowing people to add bibliographical information. So right now, the survey system has been updated where each person can add a photo of their loved one, or can add any information about their loved one, in addition, maybe a graduation certificate, if they won an award, if there's a picture of some trophy that they got for golf or for being a member of a particular organization and doing something phenomenal that they were recognized. This allows them to space to add this as well into the database. So it's this constant idea of being forward thinking and pushing what archaeology and heritage preservation can look like and can do. Kind of quickly, because I want to leave enough time for questions and kind of discussion. I want to thank a number of organizations. So we have a number of programmatic partners, but we also have a number of organizations who have stepped up and just helped us in various ways. So I wanted to add a thank you, for everybody here, and especially for USA, especially for your continued commitment as far as students and coming out to help with the documentation project.
We will definitely be there this June. Very excited about it. We're bringing some interns with us from Auburn as well as 2 high school students I met this weekend. So we will be organizing the troops en masse over here.